They say wash your hands for 20 seconds, don't they? I think that'll take a couple of minutes. River season finishing tomorrow. I can't get out tomorrow, so I thought I'd give it a last go. With all the rain that we've had, the rivers have been up and coloured. We've had a pretty dry week, so I thought we're on our way to another venue a bit farther upstream. Thought we'd stop off here, see what the colour was like. It's actually looking really good. We've stopped off here. You can see the river splits here, and you've got a lovely crease running across into a slack with a back eddy. Now all the silvers and fry, they're going to be just off that current, just hanging there. Hopefully there might be a perch or two. We've had some big fish out of here in the past. We'll give it 10 minutes or so. If they're here, we'll get one. If they're not, then we'll move on up to our main spot. Well, we couldn't have asked for a better morning for it, really, could we? It's the wind's a little bit tricky at times, but colour on the river perfect. It's dropping down. All we need to do is just find a few fish. I think they definitely have it. The river's been up and pushing so much that they've used up a lot of energy. They got to fill back up. Hopefully they fill back up on our lures. Following my own perch tips here, Sam, watching the braid as it drops back. But unfortunately, at this present moment in time, I'm not seeing it do that. Did you see that? It's only a small fish. It's a pike. Little jack. Well, I said I hadn't seen the braid do that. I just see it just flick along. Little jack, but brightens the day up. Micro jack on a micro fry. Just in the outside. Go on, smile for the camera. Well, it was almost to script, wasn't it? Just the wrong species. Okay, so we've arrived at our second venue for the day. Very excited. Really nice marina. Lots of boats to cast around and cast under. Water clarity is superb. So we've come down here. I've fished it a few times now. I've been lucky enough to get on here. It's Froude's Marina, just outside of Reading. And we're going to be doing a bit of drop shot in, micro jig lure heads, micro fry, brilliant down here. Found orange to be a good colour. So some of these are nice orange belly on them. We can try those. Drop shot seems to, at the moment, is outperforming just a small jig head. Main reason for that is I think this winter we haven't had a great deal of frost. So you've still got, in many places, a blanket of weed across the bottom. And even if you fish weedless, you still, to keep a clean bait is very difficult. So what I've found when I've been fishing down here is just suspending that little micro fry or tiddler fast just off the bottom and inching it back. And once you've found the fish, we've had some good fishing down here. So hopefully we can find a few today and we can go from there. So as I said, we've been very fortunate to fish in this marina. Marinas, obviously, they're holding places for fry, and when you've got large concentrations of fry, you'll get large concentrations of predators. However, most marinas are private with the boats, so I think it's about approaching the marina owners, making sure you have permission, as opposed to just rocking up and starting to fish. And we found a lot of the marina owners are quite reasonable if you approach it in the correct manner. Make sure you get your permissions. Respect the boat owners that are in situ. A lot of the boats, especially in this marina, are worth a significant amount of money. So we always make sure that we say, please, thank you, and we leave it as we found it. So I'm suspending the bait just a few inches off the bottom. If you imagine, drop shot fishing was originally designed for vertical fishing for largemouth bass. We're fishing it very often at an angle, so quite often I'll pull the drop shot lead well away from the actual lure, because you're fishing at a tangent, so that then gives you the ability to work the lure low by keeping the rod tip low, or bring it up in the water by lifting the rod tip. So I've set up there. I tend to work along the side of the boats, just let it drop down and just a few twitches, a couple of turns. So you're slowly dragging that bait back towards you, and obviously you're watching for that sharp pluck on the braid, probably before you even feel it. So I think most of my fish come from watching as opposed to feeling. When I'm in a marina like this, I'm not wasping, I'm fishing for big fish. We know from experience that they're big perch in here. So I'm not expecting to catch lots of these, but I'm expecting hopefully to catch a few of these. So that's the name of the game. Two boats together, close together like this, obviously that's potentially a great holding place for a perch or a pike. And the fry are normally thick in underneath the boats, so it's worth having a drop down, just work your way along. You won't believe this. You won't believe this. No? What do you think it'd be? It's a bream. Just proving that tiddler, micro tiddlers, or tiddler fry, catch everything. Would you believe it? But I could be on for a grand slam, because I've had me pike, now I've got me bream. Not intended species once more, but look at that, right in the mouth. What I have found talking about this, end of March into April, I have caught a lot of bream on the canal on micro lures, and I think as they get ready for spawning, I think they become very aggressive. And I mean, I know the guys on the reservoirs catch them up at Grapham and such like, but on the canals I've had nearly all my bream on a lure at this time of year, and I think they just get aggressive.
What a horrible way to start it.
They say wash your hands for 20 seconds, don't they? I think that'll take a couple of minutes. Right, let's go back, get the intended species. Okay, so we moved up from the had a hit then. We moved up from the bream hotspot, and we're just working in between two boats now, and I can actually get right down in between the two boats on the inside here if I like. Never ignore what's under your feet. There's loads of cover here, and Sam and myself just been looking, and there are shoals of fry just under the front of this boat here, just under the bow of the boat, and I have actually just had a hit. Not a significant one, but definitely an inquiry. Did you see that?
You can swear if you want, mate.
That was a good hit.
You definitely remember that show run.
Okay, well we'd seen the fry there, we've had a couple of bumps, and eventually I've turned one of those bumps into a fish. Not the biggest fish in the marina, but it's a starter. There you go. Well, not mission accomplished, but at least it's a starter for 10. There you go, that's a good shot there. This time of year, look at the not particularly long fish, but look at the belly on it. The colours are terrific as well. So we found one. Where there's one, hopefully there's another. Obviously when you move along the jetties, some of the boats aren't as tight as the rest. So just going in like I did then, the only problem that you got is getting the things out when you hook them. Can you do the honours there? Because I'm not going to get to it. I don't want to lose it. As I said, working along the inside of the boat can sometimes pay off big dividends. That one was right in underneath. I got to give a shout out to Sam because he actually noticed the fry working in close. I've just gone down there, straight away, bang, and we're in. So this particular boat is moored on a nice slack rope, so we can literally just ease it out slightly. Gives you more than enough room to get your lure right in alongside. One other thing I would say, obviously fishing this style, don't do it on occupied boats, so you've got permission to fish the marina, not concentrating. You've got permission to fish the marina. You don't want to go and upset the boat owners. So this is a empty vessel, nobody about. So it's fair game, I think. Oh. That one's hooked up. He's heading across the other side of the marina at this rate. This is quite exciting fishing because you are literally it's a big fish as well. Round the ropes. Yeah, this is a proper one. This is what we've come for. That's a proper one. Thanks, Sam. You spotted them underneath that boat, and they are definitely there. Right. I think you could call that a proper one, don't you? Look at the size, look at the belly on it. We will just put him just quickly onto a measure. It's 42 centimetres, big belly. The last ones that we weighed in here at that sort of size, they were just over the £3 mark. So I'd say that's, looking at the belly on that one, it's a cracking fish. So whilst marinas can be big holding spots, the shoals are really tight and you catch one or two perhaps out of a shoal. I always find it's difficult, but it's best to walk away, give the swimmer rest, let them regroup, come round and perhaps attack it as we are now from a different angle. So you're going in from a different angle, you've rested where you were, some of the fish off perhaps a different shoal have moved along. We can see the fry still from here, a couple of them turning just under the surface. We can also see that there's a lot of bottom weed there, which is going back to when we started, why drop shot seems to work better in the marina here than fishing a straightforward jig, even if you fish it weedless. So we're moving around. I've actually just bumped one. So we're giving the other side a rest, have a little go around here, and then perhaps go back round there later on. Although I normally fish tight, sometimes it's nice just to go slack and let that lure just drift down to the bottom. And very often when you tighten back up, that's when you get the take. So just veering it really. Nothing like rocket science, but just changing the presentation. I'm now going right tight between the two boats we were fishing under, if you like, or fishing alongside. Okay, so just quickly, we've set up another drop shot rig. Quite fancy trying a spiky shad. The size of the fry in there is sort of around the 2-inch mark. So we're just going to go a little bit bigger, do something a little bit different. Standard Fox drop shot lead. This one's a 5-grammer. Size 4 wide gape drop shot hook. Again, Fox one. And that's just a standard setup, a little bit heavier, a bit bigger perhaps than I normally use when I'm drop shotting, except for perhaps on the river. On the river, I quite often just put it through its nose, and if you imagine with the flow, that lets the flow makes the tail work. So you're working the lure even when you're holding dead still. So that's just another way, something just to put into it. What we also did was show an alternative. I use this in snaggy swims where I'm veering depth a lot or distance from the lure to the drop shot, and I use either a lock and slide Olivet or a line through Olivet. If I'm using the lock and slide like this, I've just put a loop in the end to give it a little bit of resistance if it snags. But if you hook a fish and it snags you, same as a carp angler, you can fish a drop shot. You can drop it off, so you drop the lead off. Everything else is exactly the same. On this one, we just got a little tiddler slow that we've been using and catching fish on. so we've had some great fun on the marina. A few perch, one unusual bream that come along, and I started off the day with a small jack, so I've had a grand slam and I've had a lot of fun. Over the next few months, obviously rivers close tomorrow, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the Kennet and Avon Canal, so we thought we'd finish off today, just come along, have a walk along the canal, have a look at some features, see what we can see, perhaps catch another fish or two, and then call it a day, and that's another season over. But it's been a good season, and I've certainly enjoyed today. It's been great fun. So that's about it really.